Georgia.
Oh, thank you.
Give us a smile.
Will 10-month-old Georgia grow up to be a hooligan? What about Owen, Hannah, or Brittany? The government says it's possible to spot the problem individuals of the future while they're still in romper suits. No, these are not them. Their parents attend sessions to ensure the best possible upbringing for their kids. But the Prime Minister says if problem parents refuse such support, the state should step in.
If we're not prepared to predict and intervene far more early, then there are children that are going to grow up in families that we know perfectly well are completely dysfunctional, and the kids a few years down the line are going to be a menace to society and actually a threat to themselves.
I'm interested in how early, because a lot of the evidence suggests you need to be getting in there while the child is still in nappies, frankly.
Or pre-birth, even. We should be intervening far earlier, making it clear that in those circumstances from a very early age there's going to be support, but also some sense of discipline and framework put in place in order to make sure that that child gets a better start in life.
Government experts reckon that if you wait until adulthood, a dysfunctional person costs the taxpayer on average £25,000 a year. Even at nursery and primary school age, children can have developed profound behavioural problems that will blight their life chances. Hence the focus on identifying and intervening as early as possible. The plan is for health visitors to flag up obvious problems, a computer system to identify babies growing up with multiple disadvantages, and once alarm bells ring, tailored support offered. But if the family refuses help, sanctions might include withdrawal of benefits, court orders, and ultimately the children taken into care. Early intervention is key to the approach on this housing project in York. Run by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, new parents, whatever their circumstances, can take advantage of a range of early support. Elsewhere, it's felt, agencies often fail to act soon enough.
The reality is, if you want to get social services involved in that family, then basically you've got to have a bruised baby on your hands. The threshold is that high. And we believe that, we don't wait for that to happen. We pick up on the signs at a very early point and we get in there.
And secondly, within what framework?
As Mr. Blair comes towards the end of his premiership, he's anxious to leave his mark and prepared to take political risks. He knows that targeting babies and toddlers in his crusade against antisocial behaviour is bound to make headlines.
That group of families that are severely dysfunctional, that have multiple problems, there is no point in sort of pussyfooting around the issue.
That's scary for people, this is Big Brother. This is that kid there is a problem of the future. We must go in.
Yeah, but you're going in to offer help and support. For example,
you may be going in to say you're not going to accept our support, so we'll take your child away.
Well, you've got to look after the interests of the child.
But the idea that the state should intervene in how families bring up their children before problems occur is extremely contentious.
The government is trying to take over a parenting role. I mean, the idea of removing children, the proposal isn't completely clear, but the suggestion that children would be removed is not actually tackling the problem.
The answer isn't more state intervention. It's to encourage the social enterprises, the voluntary sector, the community groups, to help people without trying to run their lives for them.
Ministers in your government, there's no new money for any of this. They are going to have to shift resources to put this plan into action. And they may already be looking and saying, well, we know Tony's not going to be around perhaps in a year or two, and they're looking at the next guy, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think that anybody who looks at this problem will come to pretty much the same type of conclusion. Well, I think so, and the work that we've been doing recently has been an indication of that.
He doesn't want to talk about when he's leaving, but expects a lot more on social exclusion. A keynote speech next week and a government-wide plan the week after. But Tony Blair's problem is that he's a short-term PM, proposing long-term policies. Mark Easton, BBC News.